Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. Today we're gonna be taking a look at a game that I played last night. And I gotta put a little bit of a warning right here. Today, we're gonna start and complain a little bit, okay? I know that is not usually the way I do things. And usually I try and be the most positive person in the world. And I do realize that I don't play this game perfectly either. But in this game, I wanted to discuss the reason why we do need Ravagers as Zerg. Because right now, Zerg has a pretty tough time holding certain all-ins from the Protoss player. And this is a pretty good example. So, you know, there's gonna be a little bit of balance complaining, a little bit of whining on my side of things. Just wanted to point that out right from the get-go. Because, well, this game, my opponent is gonna go for DTs. He's gonna get scouted for it. I countered that one pretty easily without taking any losses. I drone up to 3 bases and then my opponent just warps in a whole lot of stalkers and rolls over me. That's basically what happens, okay? You know, while I casually make a penis on the minimap, every single time I play this map, for whatever reason, I make a penis on the minimap with my overlords and stuff, but whatever. So in this game, I'm gonna be a little bit complaining, but mainly I just wanted to point out to you guys that the Ravager is gonna be a great solution to a lot of those problems, besides just the obvious economy change that is also gonna happen in Legacy of the Void. You know, it's gonna be an extremely useful unit. Now, obviously, the unit as it is right now, the Ravager, as you guys have been watching it in the Legacy of the Void pre-alpha games that I've uploaded. It is obviously not the version of the unit that is gonna make it to the final release of Legacy of the Void, okay? That unit is gonna change, it's gonna be nerfed, it's gonna be buffed, it's gonna change around in pretty much every single way while I have a casual penis on the minimap. Come on, man, like, come on, don't tell me you didn't see that. You know, like, the unit is gonna be changing before it actually goes live, so right now it isn't really that good, but the general outline and the general idea of the unit is obviously not going to change very much. It is meant to be able to kill force fields. It is meant to be able to take out death balls a whole lot more efficiently. And as of right now, I would agree they're way too strong. Because right now, Protoss and Terran and, you know, in Zerg for Zerg, you also have a very hard time dealing with them. But you'll see what happens in this game, why I think they're gonna be great and why I think they're gonna be necessary. So, as you might have noticed right here in this game, I have opened up with a double hatch before the spawning pool, and just now I threw up my spawning pool. Gonna go up to 4 queens or 3 queens as soon as I possibly can, but obviously I'm gonna have to save up a bunch of minerals before I can do so, and I do want to spend my larva to make as many drones as I possibly can for the time being. Now I did scout out my opponent right there. I did notice, okay, there wasn't too much of a aggressive play going on. I did see the double gas geysers in the main base, so that sort of indicates that a 4-gate is going to be very difficult for him to execute. So that means I should be allowed to drone up a little bit, you know, a little bit more greedy, or a little bit greedier than I've already been doing right here. So far, there's really no shenanigans whatsoever. I'm actually doing a little bit of an extractor sort of trick right here to get that 3rd queen out. Did hit a slight supply block right there. So like I said, you know, I do make all kinds of little misplays in this game. But then again, you guys will see. Now, I got the lucky thing that obviously most of the viewers of the YouTube channel are Zerg players. So we can complain a little bit together about Protoss every now and then. Whereas from the Protoss point of view, I guess this guy played it really well, but it's still a tough loss. It's still a tough loss. So basically what I'm gonna do is just make as many drones as I possibly can without dying. Now that is something that I would highly recommend you do as well. You know, just make as many drones as you possibly can without dying, and eventually you will realize that you have enough income to sort of crush all the Protoss all-ins. And this is something that I've been accepting, I think, for over like a 1.5 to 2 years now, is that when you get a bigger economy than the Protoss player, over time, eventually, you will start getting more income and you will start producing more units, okay? It's quite straightforward right there. You know, if you have 1,000 income and your opponent has 500 income, so you get 1,000 minerals a minute and your opponent gets 500 minerals a minute, the longer the game goes on, obviously the more stuff you will be able to create compared to your opponent, right? It's a pretty obvious thing. So right now, I'm a little bit confused. I'm scouting around with an overlord, and I haven't really spotted anything. So I do decide to put down a spore crawler down because, well, you know, he's only on 2 gas geysers, and I do end up finding a dark shrine right there. I do find the, what's that thing called again? Let me have a look right there, quick peek. The Twilight Council right there, as well as the pylon with the Dark Shrine. So that means right now I am 100% aware of what my opponent is doing, and I'm gonna start hard countering this by making a bunch of roaches, a bunch of spore crawlers, and then straight back into droning. I do still want to get as many workers as I possibly can out, because that means, like I said, eventually I will be able to outproduce him, because from here on out my opponent really has two choices. First off, what he can do is try and take a third base and macro his way out of that, but, however, he's gonna be aware of the fact that he's gonna be significantly behind as far as tech goes, because I'm gonna be able to produce a lot more stuff than he can, and it's gonna be very risky for him to begin with. Now, right there, I do realize he's not gonna be canceling it, so, you know, I'm just gonna sit there for a little while longer, just gonna defend it as hard as I possibly can, and I'm gonna try and get as many workers out. And it looks like I'm actually mostly done making workers right now. Yeah, I got about 60, which is a pretty solid amount. I might squeeze out a couple more if I really feel like it's necessary. But this is a good amount of workers, okay? I do have an evolution chamber coming in as well. Got my roach speed started, got my metabolic boost, which is zerking speed started. And right now, the only thing I really need to do is just mess up a ton of units. As long as I get a lot of units out, eventually I will be able to severely outproduce my opponent. Because if you take a look at income right now, it is about 2,000 minerals and 500 gas for me per minute, and my opponent is about 1.4k to 500 gas a minute as well. So that's a significant difference, and what that means is that over time, I will be able to produce about 20% more stuff per minute, okay? Now, maybe roaches weren't the smartest choice right here, and maybe it isn't the best thing, but very quickly, you will start seeing me push ahead in the supply count, alright? Right now it is about 20 supply up, but there we go, we are about 30 supply up, and it's just gonna start climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. Now usually the best unit to go for right now is a swarm host, but swarm host is kind of a risky switch right now. I could have probably had them out if I played it a little bit better and I knew that he was gonna be this slow. I could have probably had it out, you know, by the time this push actually hits, but I figured, okay, you know, roaches should be a better all-round unit. Swarm host is a little bit of a risk, because if I don't get it out, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a bit tough for me. I did stack up on a bunch of minerals right there, so I do throw down a bunch of spine crawlers as well. Now, another unit I probably should have gone for, and I think this would have been the best all-round decision, looking back at this game, is the Hydralisk. I probably should have thrown up a 5th gas geyser, and I probably should have gone for what's it called? Hydra Zerkling. I think that would have been much better with maybe a couple of spines in there as well. But here we go. My opponent is going to start moving towards my ramp. And right now it's 146 supply versus 119. So I do have a significant army advantage. And on top of that, I also have a bunch of spine crawlers just about to pop. And one is already, or actually a couple of them are already done. That will just allow me to get a lot more stuff out. 120 supply versus 160 supply. Looking pretty solid so far as well. We'll be able to pick off a free immortal right there as well, which is huge. And I'm going to try and just get the best engagement done I possibly can. Now here we go. My opponent is starting to force fields, and he's doing that beautifully. He's doing that extremely well. But what this does mean is that my army is just sort of pointless right now. I can't really do very much. Roaches don't outrange the actual unit, and there we see the mothership core going down as well. Pretty big mistake by him. And you know, right now I just can't do very much. If I had Ravagers, I would have been able to break those force fields, and I think this fight would have looked completely different. Now my opponent is just gonna keep on warping in, keep on trying to get as much stuff out as possible, and the same thing is what I am doing right now. I'm just trying to macro up as well and get this significant advantage. Now very soon I will even have a bigger advantage. Going for this round right here, trying to get as much damage done as possible, but have my army once again not fighting, deciding to pull those back. But once again, my opponent is warping in more and more stuff. And even though I have this huge economy lead, you know, I'm getting a lot more stuff. I have my spine crawlers, I have everything going for me. The longer this goes on, in this tight choke, I have a very hard time winning this game. And this is where I'm starting to feel this itch, where I'm like, well, you know, I think I played this correctly. I don't really think I made a major mistake anywhere. Maybe the one thing that I did do wrong is the defense right here at the third base, and maybe I should have put in some Hydralisk. But honestly, even that is not the biggest of deals. Even that would not have been that much changing right now. So, honestly, you will very shortly see what I'm talking about. This is, by the way, 60 supply up for me. So I got 60 supply more units than my opponent, and spine crawlers and everything else. I am deciding to switch into a what's the thing called? A Spire right now to make some mutas after this aggression is over, because I'm still thinking I'm gonna eventually be able to win this, but the force fields are once again coming in. I'm trying to chase him down, have to deal with this aggression right here at my third base as well, and right now I'm losing a lot of units because once again my army is not engaging because of all these force fields. So personally, I cannot wait for the Ravager to be introduced into StarCraft 2. I think it would be a great way of dealing with Protoss all-ins, simply for the fact that, well, you know, force fields are basically not allowing Zerg to do very much damage at all. I'm still ahead right now in supply, but it's already starting to dwindle. I did manage to deal with the aggression at my third base. Spine crawlers are starting to fall as well, but right now my opponent simply has the more cost-efficient units. Now, he is not ahead in upgrades or anything. I just have about +1 armor to finish, and I also have +1 attack, or I already have +1 armor done, and +1 attack is about to finish up as well. He's only at +1 attack, so it's not like he's significantly ahead in upgrades. He's just been warping in a lot of stuffs, putting up really good force fields, I'll give him that, and then he just sort of wrecked me. And these are the losses that I personally am always still a little bit tilting about. I always get a little bit hesitant about these kind of games. Obviously, we're still gonna GG out of this one. But at some point during this game, I was like 50-60 supply ahead on my opponent, and I felt like I was in a great position. But then he put down these near-perfect force fields, not allowing my army to engage very well. He split up my army very well with that drop at my third. And after that, you know, I just sort of got wrecked. So right now this game is pretty much over. And this is why I feel like Ravagers are going to be great. Because, well, we can break force fields. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. Hopefully you guys agree with me. If you don't, let me know right below that like button in the comment section below. And also, obviously, make sure you let me know if you do agree with me. I do decide to TT, which is like a sad face, and I GG out of the game. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!